This is a bit of an emotional place for me. This is Doon Rock, and it's the place where Sir Cahir O'Doherty was murdered. And I was here with a group of family members, a clan reunion, and we commemorated this place, Doon Rock. We put a clan plaque here. So come and I'll read it to you, and then we'll go up the rock. So this here says, Cahir O'Doherty, the last great Gaelic chieftain to stand against the English oppressors, was killed in this area on the 5th of July 1608. And this reunion commemorates his leadership and courage. Something the world needs today, some leadership and some courage. So come on up the hill, and this was the inauguration place of the O'Donnell chiefs, which were large tribal clan group here in Donegal. So I presume Sir Cahir finished up in this area because he was looking for allies, and the O'Donnells are kind of like cousins, and I'm sure he'd come to their area to have allies to fight the English. Sir Cahir O'Doherty was left here in a sense that the flight of the Earls had just happened, and so the great chiefs of Ireland had left from not far from here at Ramelton, and they had disappeared to Europe, and we think it was to get reinforcement or something to battle the English, and it meant Sir Cahir O'Doherty was left alone in Northern Ireland, and he became that last chief, a Gaelic chief, to fight the English. And up here is the top of Little Doon Rock. So here we are at the Rock of Doon. I wrote a poem for Sir Cahir up here. I haven't got it with me, but we'll read it at some stage when we put all this together. There used to be a plough pole about here, and that was where the O'Donnell flag would fly from time to time when they came up here to inaugurate their chief. Over there you can just see the Swilly, and it was from there that the great chiefs left. The flight of the Earls, as it's called. They sailed out the Swilly for Europe. And this is what it says up here today. The inauguration place of the O'Donnell chieftains. On this rock took place the secular ceremony of the inauguration of the chiefs, having had a religious ceremony earlier at the Abbey at Kilmacrennan. Mentioned here is 1200 AD. So we're talking that kind of history and the great clans. So the O'Donnells are big serious people in this part of Donegal. The O'Neills are significantly greater chiefs in Ulster, and the O'Dohertys are sort of the tribal clan caught between the two great ones, and Inishowen, the hills in the distance, is the country that we now see as the land of the Dohertys. So a very sad place, a very heroic place, and as you can see, a very beautiful place. The Rock of Doon. As we begin to leave the Rock of Doon, Sarah's looking out over what looks like bogland. Some archaeology was done here and they found an ancient oak road, they called them. To make a road across the bog, they would chop oak trees down and lay them down, and that would form the road that you'd then ride across and walk across, bring your horse and carts across. And that road led to the holy well at the bottom of this hill, which is known as the Well of Doon. So when we're talking oak roads and bog roads and those sorts of things, we're going back millennia. People have lived here and seen this as a sacred place long before Christianity ever came to these isles. Standing on O'Donnell's Rock of Doon, I hear lead penetrate your red-head skull. I flinch, I too look towards the Swilly. Alas, our earls had flown, Ulster defeated. Alone you fought the last battle for the High Kings of Ireland. Royal crowns were changing, England's crown to reign. From your past to my future, it will never be the same. Your castles of Inch and Carrickbreggy taken, now for me ruins. Culmore laid waste, Derry torched, Inishowen fallen. Elizabeth knighted you once, and now you turn to slay her successor. She took it all, Chichester's gain, and you were left with only the struggle. The redcoats' aim was true, your blood spilled on Doon. Your O'Doherty troops castrated and banished, your body drawn and quartered in Derry. Let no one do this again, they declared, as they thrust your bedded head upon a pole, and displayed you and MacDavid at the gates of Dublin Castle, the English crown's warning. 4 centuries later, I stand at these castle gates to remember you and enjoy your free city. I salute you, my cousin, for your daring and for your stand. So as you come down off the rock, you strike this one. She gets around, this girl, she's everywhere. Come on then, I'll take you to the Holy Well. I think this is the bit that makes it holy. All sorts of rosary beads and little rags and a golf ball, a child's dummy, you know, rings left here, asking, we presume, for blessing. And then over here, a pretty flash well that's got its own wee doors. And then you open those up and you can get yourself some water. Look at that, holy Doon water. And a little sign here that tells you that you need to do this repetitively. You need to do it in your bare feet. And you need to go round the holy well a number of times, probably 3, I think, saying Our Fathers and Hail Marys. And this is very ritualistic and very, very Celtic, and would have probably happened before they all became Catholic here and started reciting those repetitive prayers. I suspect ancient wells and holy places have existed here since that oak road across the bog came here. It's a beautiful water supply, and water, as we all know, is so sacred to life. Let's protect it. And here at Doon Rock is the third item or thing to visit. So you've got the Rock of Doon, you've got the Well of Doon, and this one is the Mass Rock of Doon. And during the penal times, when Catholics were not allowed to worship, and any priest that said Mass would be murdered or tried and hung, then what they used to do is they used to hide in secret places and have masses, and those places were tucked away where they were secure and safe from the security that would be haunting them and hunting them. And they did them at these mass rocks, and this is the one at the Rock of Doon. So come and have a look at this. So here, after a considerable little walk into a secure and safe place, the people would gather here. They would usually have up on the hills someone looking out to make sure the Brits or the landlords or whoever didn't want this to happen. And then they would gather here, and there's the altar that they would say Mass on. Someone's left a little crucifix there.